Hello.
Hey, Timothy. How's it going?
It's going great. This is Brad Abrams. Brad is a product manager on Assistant.
That's right. Yep. How's it going, Timothy?
It's going great. Now that you're here and I'm here, I think we should talk about the Assistant. What do you think?
I think that sounds like a great idea because it's the only thing I know to talk about, so perfect.
All right, let's start with square one.
Okay.
What is Assistant and why is it cool for developers?
Well, the Assistant is really a conversational interface to Google. It's the kind of smart brain in your Google Home or on your Android phone, and actually at this event we just launched it on iOS as well. And you can have really a conversation with Google to help you get things done.
That's awesome.
I think so.
What are the different surfaces for developers to integrate with?
Oh, great. So there's a couple of different ways. One, you can extend the Assistant by adding your own custom apps to the Assistant. And then you can also host the Assistant in different devices. So if you're building your own hardware or whatever, you can host your Assistant there.
And that's the difference between Actions on Google and the Assistant SDK, right?
Exactly. So the Assistant SDK is where you host it with your hardware, and Actions on Google is extending the Assistant.
Okay. Well, we're at I.O., and I know some new stuff has been announced. Why don't you tell us about some of your favorites?
Oh, man, it's hard to pick. There's so many. I'm really excited about Actions on Google coming to phones, to Android and iOS. So up until this event, you could only build Actions on Google for home, for eyes-only experience or eyes-free experience. And now we have Actions on Google for the phone as well. So we have suggestion chips, lists, image carousels, and it can really give you a deep multimodal experience.
Oh, you mean like seeing and hearing?
That's right. You can see and hear, yeah. We also launched transactions, so you can buy things via the Assistant. I think that'll help users a lot. I know I want to buy a pizza from my phone. I can just say, okay, Google, I want a pizza, and it can connect me to somebody to go do that. And for developers, it also gives a financial incentive, which I hear some developers like to get paid.
Yes.
So
indeed, they do.
And then, of course, deep. For me is developer experience. And we've done a lot of work. We launched the platform first in December, and we've done a lot of work on developer experience. So we launched a new version of the developer console. We call it the Actions console. Developers can use that to work better in teams together, to get deep analytics about their application, as well as it integrates really well with the Firebase and Google Cloud consoles.
Awesome.
And then can I do one more?
Absolutely.
See, I can just add them. So one more would be discoverability. I think that's been, in the whole kind of chatbot space generally, having people be able to discover them has been a problem. And so we've done a lot of work in that regard. The first is that we have a new directory for our apps, and it's right there on the Assistant surface, just one tap away, and you can see a category view of all the Assistant apps that are there. We also gave you a way to get a web URL into that. So if you wanted to promote your app via your enormous Twitter followers, you could totally go do that, which is awesome. And of course, people who love your Assistant app can share it with their friends via the deep link. And finally, we did some work to help discover when to invoke your Assistant app from information in the directory, other information provided by the developer. We can just respond to queries like play a game, and we can actually find the right Assistant apps to go trigger in that case.
That's totally awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's kind of a big release for us here at I.O.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different stuff.
Yes, it certainly is. But I think it comes together in a really cohesive package, though, because if you're going to do transactions, you're going to buy things. A lot of times, having a visual surface to see the different options, see the cart and whatnot, really helps with that. And then, of course, if you're going to have a financial interest there, being able to have people discover your Assistant apps really helps.
Awesome. Okay, so let's take a step back, and I would love to hear your thoughts just on conversational interfaces in general.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about this evolution that's been happening, like when I started using computers, it was like mouse and keyboard. It was very indirect, right? You move.
Wait, you had a mouse?
I did have a mouse. You don't think I had a mouse?
Well, I mean, you start with like the Commodore 128.
Right, yeah. Okay, before you had a keyboard, and then we added a mouse. But these are indirect, like you do something with your hands and something happens on the screen. And then, we got capacitive touch, right? So you could actually touch the screen. And like my kid, when he was 2, knew how to touch the screen, right? Like that was very intuitive. And I think we're at the verge of making the next step. And that is, rather than just being able to like touch the button, what if I could just express what I want? Why do I have to dig through a bunch of menus, find the right button to press? Not really sure what's going to happen when I press that button. But what if I could just express my idea? This is what I want to happen. I want to play this game. I want to order this pizza. I want to do whatever. And that's what I think this conversational interface is enabling.
Awesome. I do want to say that I think one of the things that's been holding us as developers back from that is the right tooling to do so.
You know, as I describe that, I think the developers are going like, wow, sure, but how do I do that when the user, if you think about the huge number of ways people could say they want a pizza and order toppings on the pizza, how can they turn the huge vagaries of human language into something a developer can understand? And that's where tools like API.AI can really come into play. API.AI is our own conversation building tool. And what it does is lets you as developers define intents just by giving us some example phrases of what a user would say. And then we can do the, pull out the entities from that and do the natural language understanding so that we can do slot filling and actually figure out what users are saying. So you might give an example like, I want a large pepperoni pizza with tomato sauce is your example. We know it's large is an entity, pepperoni is an entity, and tomato sauce is an entity. We can actually pull those out and then recognize other queries like, I want a small pizza with tomatoes and green olives with no sauce. And that, because we can do that, it makes it much more tractable for developers to actually understand human language.
But seriously, how many times have you ordered a pizza with no sauce?
Well, that's pretty rare, but I'm for extra sauce. Just because it dribbles down your face.
Okay, that's good. All right, is there anything else you want to say about Assistant or any of the developer tools before we go?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
All right, Brad, thanks so much.
All right, thank you.